Hello, this is a walkthrough of an Android application that opens up a new window or layout in Eclipse. I've taken this Chapter 2 tutorial and broken it down to some simpler steps. I'm not going to follow it exactly, but I'm going to do the main parts of it. Going to give your application a name, click on through. The instructions tell you to change that to just main, but it doesn't really matter. The next major topic from that chapter is to add a button to the screen. That's one of the trickier things to do here, is to add the button and get it to do something. So we're going to add a button and change the ID of it so that it matches the code that's been provided. Now that we have one layout or one screen, we're going to make another layout. And I'm going to right click on the layout folder in the Package Explorer, go to Other, and Android XML layout file. Make sure to choose relative layout, and then Android tells you, or the Eclipse tells you up at the top, that you need to save it as a .xml file and follow the directions and just call it recipe. And we'll just put a text box on here to show that it is a different form or different window. Now we need to add some source code to that window. So I'm going to expand the source folder and find out where this main Java is, and right there I'm going to do add class. Standard for a class is to start with a capital, and we need to change the superclass here. So we're going to click browse and start typing the word activity. And once we type that, we'll see the Activity Android app. Now, a lot of things could be going wrong in this video. This is what it looks like when it goes relatively right, and I know it can be frustrating when it goes wrong. So I can't go into detail about all the different things that could go wrong, but just know that this is how it could work. Go to the Application tab of the manifest, add this new activity that we created. So the activity is like the page. We can close that, make sure to save it, and save your whole project at this point as well. It's going to help you in the long run. Then we're going to go into our recipe.java file and add some code. We are going to set the content view. So we need to associate this Java file with the layout file that we already created. It's not quite as intuitive as you might hope, but you'll get the hang of it if you do it a bunch of times. So when this file gets created, when this Java file for a recipe gets created, we want to set the content view. We want the Android device to show the layout file that we created. So refer back to the book, or I'm going to refer back to my notes to make sure I'm adding the correct thing. I'm going to set the layout. That's what we want to do. So we're going to scroll down, choose layout, and then another period, and we want the layout that we just made. So you get the text help. Sometimes you have to hit Control, hold down Control and hit the space bar for that to come up. That's how I did some of these things. Sometimes it won't put in exactly what you want. Capitalization does matter. It's case sensitive, so we're going to change set content view, and that gets rid of that squiggly thing. And we don't want the activity main layout. We want the new recipe layout that we made. And so I'm putting the word recipe here because that's the name of the XML file that we want to display. I didn't add all the images and other things to this file. I just want to show you the fundamentals of it. If you ever get a line that says import R, then something's gone wrong. You can comment that out or delete it and try again, because that means that things aren't working properly. That was the code that was provided to create a variable or an instance of the class button. Anytime you see a squiggly line, there's a problem. we can click on this and import the code. Importing means that we're going to take advantage of pre-built code, but we're only going to include it in our section, in our project, for code that we're actually using. Keeps our files nice and small. Again, sometimes the text will come up automatically, sometimes you hold Control and hit space. For this project, we're just doing the top choice for all of them. And what this means is we're creating a button, and we're creating an event handler for the button being clicked, so that the program knows what to do when that button on our main screen gets clicked. Now we need, again, to import some pre-built code. The Android ClickListener. Again, this is just my notes from the tutorial that was given. This is one of the last steps, a little bit tricky. I'm going to tab in to start at the right place. Start activity, hold Control, hit spacebar. Top one for almost everything that we've done. And the intent is to select our new class. We've changed the recipe class, the recipe.java file, to look at the Java layout file, or the recipe layout file. Now we just need to know, this button needs to know to go to that recipe class to then point to the recipe layout. This is one that's not at the top. It's one of the longest ones, has the CLS at the end. And the tutorial in the book said to make it main.this, but that was when we changed, that was if you change the main name. I left mine as MainActivity, so I'm going to put MainActivity.this. You'll understand more about what some of these things mean later on, but for now it's good enough to know what to put, and know to put a semicolon at the end of all lines of Java code, as we just did, and now we can run it. I left an error in here so you can see how to debug. Okay, when there's an error, you can double click on the error and it'll take you to the line number that the error is on. The chapter shows you how to turn line numbers on, or you can find it in Eclipse. So we just need to add the semicolon there. Error goes away. You run it, and it launches in the Android emulator. We click on the button and it opens up the other form, the other layout.